one thing we've not talked a lot about in matters relating to drug addictions and other addictions and the detriment it causes to the American society is Xanax. And the use of Xanax and the abuse of Xanax is absolutely growing in America. We're fortunate this morning to have addiction expert Michael Molthan with us. Michael, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
We're doing well. Michael, explain to me and our listeners the difference in Xanax and the opioid addiction.
Well, there's as you know, as a person in recovery, there is no difference. And let me tell you why we're talking about Xanax right now. It's simply the reason why we're talking about it right now is because it's easy to get. So once the government and the authorities make it very difficult for hydrocodone or opiates and, of course, heroin and all that stuff as far as access, we as addicts, we're willing to go to any length to try to change the way we feel, and Xanax is easy accessible. I mean, it will be prescribed over 50 million times this year by the doctors of America. So it's in everybody's cabinet, and there's a great use for it, but as an addict, it's known as bars, Xannies. It is something that chills you out, and it's been abused for a long time, but we're talking about it on the radio now once again because it's easy access.
Michael, why has it not received the attention that the opioid addiction has? Because
the opioid addiction it's wiping out people in the masses, and I'll end what you said with the word yet. It's coming. It's coming. There's people dying from it. There's a very close friend of mine who sponsors our show here in Dallas, Texas, lost a son and a grandson within 9 months to Xanax. I was very addicted to Xanax. So it's here in my world. It's going to be hitting the news here very soon. We're losing a lot of people to this drug.
Michael, we're famous in politics for pointing the finger. Republicans point the finger at Democrats. Democrats point the finger at Republicans. If you had to point the finger, not at one single body or one single person, but if you had to point the finger at a system that let the public down, why have we gotten in such dire straits with the opioid addiction and the Xanax addiction you're discussing now?
Well, I point the finger at the dinner table. I point the finger at all the fathers in the house. The man needs to step up and to be the leader of the household and sit down and listen to the kids. People and families just sometimes need a good listening to instead of prescription. The power of two people just talking and saying, I feel this way, Dad, and the dad providing a solution, a spiritual solution. We are lacking spiritual solutions to human problems. We're providing bizarre solutions to simple problems. And we're seeing this firsthand, this epidemic taking over as a lack of just, two people just sitting down and talking. And that's recovery, is one addict talking to another, and they're staying clean and sober and living happy and joyous lives without prescriptions.
Michael, all families have struggles. All families have issues. My family's no different. I'm sure yours is the same. There's
right.
3 people in this studio. I would imagine we've all experienced struggles in our family life. But addiction is something hard to understand. Nobody wants to admit their kid is an addict. How important is it to be aware of some of the realities, when kids don't act normal, when something's wrong? How important is it as a parent to confront that and accept the fact that your kid may be indeed an addict?
Well, it is frustrating, for the parent. Number one, the parent's got to understand they didn't cause it, they can't cure it, and they can't control it. So my suggestion is to have your kid get around someone who's in recovery that can relate. All right, this disease is extremely frustrating for the non-addict because I have a disease that I have to self-diagnose myself before anybody can help me. Because we live in a state of denial. We live in a state where I'm fine and y'all are sick. But once I self-diagnose myself, then that there is a solution and I'm willing to go to any lengths to get well, that's where we start seeing the miracles happen. When I'm in recovery, all the Xanax in the world could be coming across the border. It doesn't affect me, and so if we can multiply that times millions, then the business just goes out. The Xanax will go away. That's the perfect world scenario.
Michael, last question. You mentioned that you are a recovering addict. If someone has a recovering addict or an addict who's not in recovery in their family, the first step is what? I mean, where do they go seek help in your trials and tribulations? What have you found is a very solid first move?
I think a very, very solid first move is for someone who has a family member that's struggling is get that person face-to-face or on social media. There's great sites out there in recovery so they can hear someone else's testimony and someone else's story, because they'll sit there and they will start nodding their head and start saying, that's me. I get that. This guy speaks my language. He talks to me. Because the non-addict, the parent talking to Michael, the one question that will drive us back to doing Xanax is the question, why? And that question makes us so mad and so angry inside, and it's because we cannot answer that question, why. We don't know why we do the things we do when we're in our addiction.
Michael, we appreciate your time. We wish you luck, my friend. Thank you very much.
God bless y'all. Bye-bye.
Take care. We'll take a break. We'll be back after the break. Thanks to QAT and TeamQAT.com. Good morning, PD Live 95.